So, I'm trying something a little new today, if you couldn't tell. This may just come across as oddly intimate without me intending it to. That being said, hello everyone. It's some nice neck folds there. It's a scary world we live in. And I was thinking, with everything going down, what is the most cozy thing that I could think of? And I thought, a bedtime story. Is this what ASMR is? Is just simulating someone lying next to you and talking in hushed tones. So the first story. Oh, I hope you like my light bulbs that I strung up. I just really wanted to look like a white girl at her first semester of college. Let's hang out some bulbs. Let's do a quote wall. So this first story, it's like we're at a sleepover. My first job was at Subway. Subway, if you're unfamiliar, is, you know them. They make the sandwiches. Something that I think people should know about me in general is that I suck at doing things. Every other job I've had that's not related to a creative field, I just suck at. And if there's anything you should know about Subway, it's that Eat Fresh is the biggest load of horse shite that has ever been promoted. They have one of their sandwiches is like, or used to be called like the Seafood Delight or something. It literally comes in a cube of like crab meat. You get the cube, you get the freaking crab cube, and you munch it up, you put it in a bowl with mayonnaise, you stir it together, you put it in the little like plastic containers, and that's the thing. That is what I had to do for my job, and yes, I had several moral dilemmas about it. Even their breadsticks, they're not breadsticks. See, I just called it breadsticks. They're freaking loaves of bread. Their bread comes in frozen stick format. It's like a freaking baton. If you hit someone with a Subway breadstick, you would give them severe brain damage. And so we had to prepare the food, obviously. And the way you prepared the bread, this story is called How I Lost My Job at Subway. That's what this should be called. There are 2 stages to preparing the bread at Subway. There's the priming stage, which is the stage that takes it from bread log and makes it into bread loaf. Like, it literally inflates the dang thing. And then there's the baking. You just put the now flated bread logs into the oven and it bakes them. So we were in the lunch rush. Stuff was crazy. People needed their $5 meaty subs. That's my nickname back in high school. Gross. No. There's a buzzer that goes off whenever the bread is done being primed, being inflated. But there's 2 knobs. There's a knob that turns off the actual oven and it stops the bread from inflating. And there's a knob that turns off the oven buzzer. And because we were going so fast and we were like in rush for 3 hours, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna turn off the oven and then we'll like get the bread out when it's done. But I didn't turn off the oven. I turned off the buzzer. I turned down the volume of the thing letting us know, hey, these breads are getting freaking ginormous. Do something about it. And so 3 hours pass. We're going crazy. I'm working with everyone. We're having a good time, and then one of my fellow employees looks towards the priming oven and goes, oh my gosh. And we look, and literally it's like a freaking monstrosity of bread like pressed up against the window. And what had happened was when I had turned down the volume and not turned down the actual like oven, it had inflated the bread to reach an ungodly size. And it wasn't just one loaf of bread. The way we did it was, I think, like 12 sticks on like a tray, and there were 7 trays. So what's 12 times 7? 12 times 6 is 72? Do I not know? What's 12 times 7? I'm just going to pretend like I know and put the number on the screen. So it was that many. They're like all the size of beach balls. They look like little Bichon Frise puppies pressing their face, begging me to let them out. And we were like, okay, well, what do we do? Maybe we can still salvage it. And we open it, and literally the dough just goes like, gets freaking everywhere. It was absolute madness. So we like took them out and we like tried to like compress them, and the dough just turned like in our hands. It was like Thanos snapping bread. It just like melted into nothing. I was like, okay. Good news is, Tanner's mom is a really good cook, and she does a lot of baking. She'll know what to do. So what I did is I collected all of these freaking like exercise ball sizes of bread, and I put them all together in one mega ball. I wanted to take this home to my mother and say, hey Tracy, I just got you a butt ton of free bread from Subway. So I'm not even kidding, when I collect this thing, we collect all the loaves of bread into one big ball. It really is the size of an exercise ball at this point. Like, this is not exaggerated. This is true. I will find the people this happened with and ask them to testify on my case. I just felt so bad that I destroyed everything. I felt obligated to adopt this disgusting yeast baby that no one wanted. We got like a thing of saran wrap. I just went like and just wrapped this entire thing in this tightly wound little like thing of saran wrap, and I was like, genius. See you guys tomorrow. This is a very important detail to remember. I couldn't freaking drive. I had just barely turned 16. I had gotten my permit a little late, so I was like a couple months out from being actually able to drive. I rode my bike to work every day, and it wasn't very far, but it was 97 degrees outside. And so I had to walk home with this freaking John Carpenter, The Thing, Lovecraftian nightmare ball of bread. I start walking home, and I am carrying this bread baby in saran wrap. I'm like, my mom's gonna make rolls out of this, some honey grain and wheat or whatever. It's gonna be great. And as I'm walking home, I don't know how science works, and the sun is beating down. It's 97 degrees, maybe even more, because it was southern Utah in the dead of summer, which can get hot. I'm walking down Sunset Boulevard, and this thing, because it's fresh yeast and like my sweat's probably combining with it too, which is so nasty. This thing starts growing, like it gains a life of its own. It literally becomes this like nightmarish, like the blob that ate everything Goosebumps novel. The dough starts to like eat the saran wrap, and it's getting mixed together, and it's like pouring down my jeans. It was like getting everywhere. It's like sticking to me. I'm running home just like, ah! And I like burst in the door, and my mom is really like cooking dinner, and she goes, hey, ah! She was like terrified, and she looks over to her son. I literally have, and like holding this giant thing of dough. It's like grown into the ground. It's like I'm covered in saran wrap, and I was like, do you want to bake this? And she was like, what happened to you? What are you holding? Like, what Martian baby did you murder with your hands? And I was like, could you maybe try baking it? And she was like, I mean, I can try. And I like, literally, I distinctly remember this. I was like, okay, let's try to like put it in a pan or something. And I like peel this thing off and just go like, and like throw it into the pan, and it literally like took off like chunks of my like Subway uniform. So there's these little green like lint balls in it, and I was like, all right, good luck. And she was like, okay. She tried to bake it. It did not work because at that point it had combined with my sweat and the sweltering St. George sun. And she made these little rolls, and she was like, give them a shot. And I ate it, and it just tasted like salt and rocks and butthole. And I was like, this didn't work. And then I went into work the next day. My manager, Kim, literally looked me up and down and was like, don't ever do something that stupid again. And I didn't listen. I hope you enjoyed this round of bedtime stories with Tanner. If this is, I don't know if I'll do this as like a story or like an actual video, or if I'll just let this like exist on my phone. Yeah, y'all are great. We're gonna be okay. Like, genuinely, I know that's like, I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm not, for once in my life, I'm not particularly worried about something, which is crazy because I worry about everything. So have a good night. Sleep well. I'm